Hello, this is a note about a very powerful tool, a function of QTVLM called Grib reckoning, which is it's basically sailboat dead reckoning. So it does conventional dead reckoning, speed, time, and distance in some direction, but it's tied to what wind is loaded and your polar diagram. So if you want to, if you, oh, so you have two ways to set it up. First of all, you can start it anywhere. You have to have wind loaded. That's I've got some loaded here for now. You can start it anywhere. You can just say right click and start a Grib reckoning right here. Then this is what the screen looks like, and you have two ways to do it. You could go it by true wind angle. Let me back up here a minute. Let me just, for example, put a mark here so we know where we started, and I'll just put test start. Okay, just a mark. You can start it anywhere, but to me, if I know where I started, it's a little bit better if we come back and look at it. Let's just say I'm going to later start at these various points and do things to demo it. But let's start here, and then to start from a particular mark, like exactly right at that point, you right-click this, you go down to More Options, and then draw a Grib reckoning. Now, once you're here, you have two choices. You can either just say I'm going to go on a heading, 0 to 360, and then if I choose to go due north right here, I will indeed go due north regardless, but my speed will change. And I'm not monitoring what the speed is, but the speed that I get will be, let's see, if I go due north here, let's see if, well, let's just look at this, and then and then we'll come back and look at the polar diagram. But let's say I'm going on a heading and I'm going due north. Now it's going in steps of cranks, and you can read about this elsewhere. But a crank is a computation step used in the program. The default value is 5 minutes. And we discuss in the cheat sheet how you change that and look at that. And I should mention, by the way, that we have a very detailed discussion of this important function called Grib reckoning in the cheat sheet. So it's like a text article of what I'm talking about now. And so illustrating now. So here's a heading. I'm going 0, 0, due north. And so there's 5 minutes. There's where it's going 5 minutes. Now the question about how fast am I going, you see I'm at a wind angle here of about like 45 degrees or something like that. So I could turn this on over here, and you see 40. This is actual, this is a little mini view of the polar diagram. We can't use it for much. This blue line doesn't mean much. That's the direction, that's the wind angle at the boat, wherever the boat is down here in the corner. But it's not, this is used dynamic. This little view of the polar diagram is mainly a dynamic function when you're actually sailing or when you're doing a simulation. For now, I'm just showing that this is the boat, and where's the boat? Right here for the moment. Let me just look here. You see, read down here in the status bar, down the bottom. The wind is the wind in this area is about like 9 knots, 8, 9 knots. So I could go here if I want to and put that to 9 knots. And then I see that if I'm at like 45 degrees, there's 45, well, 45 is like the optimum speed forward. And so it looks like I would be traveling at a speed here, it said 7.45 knots, right over here on the right, 7.45. Now, okay, so that's what that's going. But now, if I turned 45 degrees to the right, then my wind angle, I'm going to really slow down because I'm going to be heading right into the wind. And you would see that here. Let me now at this point. Okay, so here's the way this works. I want to jibe or tack or change course, right? So the first thing I do is just stop. I'm not adding cranks anymore, and I'm still using heading, not true wind angle. And then I go up and change it. I'm on my leg 2. So it's going to, first of all, look at that. It defaults to true wind angle. We want to go back to heading, and now we're going to go like to heading 45. Now we're going to expect to go in, I don't know how many cranks we were here. Let me go back to 1. That was 5 cranks. You see I go back to 1, and that showed me I was 5 cranks into step 1, leg 1. Now I'm leg 2 with no cranks. So if I go 5 here, I don't expect to go very far because I'm going straight into the wind. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so sure enough, I'm not going very fast. So you see what's going on. If you're going heading, you choose the heading you want to go, but you're only going to get to go as fast as a polar diagram says you would go if you pointed your sailboat with its sails in that direction. Now, okay, so this is not a route you would normally go. Okay, so that's that, and then it saves we have a point here, and then it says this is the ETA, the dead reckoning time. Now we started here you were starting at the Grib time, which is here, 0:00:226, and so this is. Well, we did 5 cranks at 5 minutes each. That's going to be 00:25. So that's 25 minutes into the program. That's 50 minutes into the program. So that's a DR like that. Okay, before going on, I want to just show a couple of the way that this is saved. Right now, you see what it says store here as POIs and reckoning. And that's the way we have it. And if we close, that's what's stored, and stored means stays on the screen. Now, if I go back and go here and open it up again, draw a Grib reckoning, but this time save just the POIs and close. It shows just the POIs. I go back here. Where is it? More options. Create a Grib, and then if I say just the lines and say close, then it saves just the lines. So that's what that is. And then more options, draw a Grib reckoning. Okay, like that. And so you might want to just play with that. But anyway, that's just what this is and how it works. The next thing I wanted to show, just as a general, before we get into the actual use of the function, is that you notice each time I redisplayed it, I always started right from where I did it here. If I close and then just go over here and just say start a reckoning from here, the first thing it will think is it assumes that I want to just see what does this reckoning look like started from here. So if I do right click, draw a Grib reckoning, it just moves that one over to here. Or say right click, draw a Grib reckoning. Oh, wait a minute, first I have to close it. And then I'm saving everything. But okay, so now right click, draw a Grib reckoning, it moves it. Now that has a handy thing if we're doing some sailing, getting an elaborate sort of DR track along here, we could find out, well, what's it like to start from here versus what's it like to start from here and so forth. But anyway, that's just to show that behavior. If you want to erase and totally start over again, then the question is reset it, and then close it. Now it will start from wherever you want. Let's say I start here, draw a Grib reckoning, and then let me just head off here again. I want to illustrate one other point, 45 degrees, and I'm going to make it a heading, 45, and then start cranking away here. Let's see what I get, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just see, I'm holding it down and just running up there 5-minute steps. Okay. So I missed it. But now, here's another thing to illustrate. So once I'm there, I started here and I'm 45. But let's just say, where would it look like if I had gone to 40? You see, or I mean, this is 47. Let me go to a smaller angle. You see, what happens, there's two things going to change. When I'm still going 34 cranks, which is this 250. But I'm changing the fixed angle I was sailing. So two things will happen. This will change up here because I'm going a different angle, but the length of it will change because I'm confronting the wind at a different angle and I'll go a different speed. So you see, but this is really what I want to show is something different. So let me just keep going down here and let's see what happens here. Well, let me go a few more cranks. And then I'm going to go further this way. There, that's what I want to show. See, if I go a few cranks there, it's blue, blue, blue. Few crank, oh, now down the other way. Ah, come on, come on, come on. And down this way, it hits red. Now, what that red means is I have hit land somewhere. Now, we don't see land because we don't have any, we have just this a very crude base map showing, and it doesn't show it. So if you want to know what you actually hit in a case like that, just go and turn on a vector chart and then zoom in, and you'll see that what we're hitting here is a minor Smith Island. So if I go down a few cranks, no, I go up a few degrees. You see, there's green, and now it's up here. It hit the land, and it's red, so forth. Okay, so that's what that means. If you're in the process of doing some dead reckoning, and let me just right-click, create a dead reckoning. I just see it started it now from here, but I just want to get rid of it, so I'm going to reset it and close it. So now I'm fresh to start wherever I want to start. And I'm going to pause here. Okay, let's carry on and do this in some real wind. And I have some real wind as a HRRR model, high resolution rapid refresh model loaded. But before we start on that, I want to do maybe a little bit simpler case, or just I want to go in here and force the wind to be fixed. So I'm going to just go in and force the wind. In other words, we've got a wind field loaded that's got 48 hours of forecast. But for now, I'm going to just make the wind 10 knots from the direction 005, and it's constant. So for all time and everything, it's that. And let's start here. And if I put my cursor here, let's see what, well, wait, silly me. I was going to put my cursor here to read the wind. Well, I know what the wind is. It's 10 knots from 005. So, but let's go here for this boat. And then, oh, here's 10 knots. That's the default maybe here. And then let me just see. So it looks like it's right here, 45 degrees. For this boat at 10 knots, the best angle, true wind angle going forward is 45 degrees. So let's do that. So I go here. I'm going to go down. Again, if I'm starting anywhere out here, I could just right-click and say create a reckoning. But I want to start right from this point. And that is, then I have to go to more options to draw a reckoning. And then I'm going to go true wind angle. And now let's see, I'm going to go this way first on this tack. So that's going to be wind on the port side. Wind on the left side is a negative. So that's a minus 45. That says the wind angle, the true wind angle is minus 45 degrees. And then I'm on a true wind. Okay, so now I start cranking away. I'm on leg one, right? Leg one. Okay. Then I go up here a ways like this. Let me go up there. Okay, now I'm going to tack. So the first thing you do when you're going to tack, stop doing that. You go up here and I'm tack. I'm on my second leg. I'm still on true wind. Now I want it 45 degrees on the plus side. So I make 45 over here. And now I'm on there. I keep going like this. Okay, and there's Cattle Pass up there. And now, and here's where I can tack again, right? Tack. I go to 3. Now I'm putting the wind back on the other minus side. That's a minus 45. And I crank away. Oh, and look, I've overstood the mark. You see that? I've overstood the Cattle Pass is down here. I've overstood the mark, and I maybe could have seen that if I had my eyes open and paying attention. But there's certain things we can do to help with that, even those for us that are not looking that well. We can go in here to this Cattle Pass mark, and in this wind field that's fixed, we can just say turn on the ley lines based on the Grib. So you see, here's where I should have tacked, right back here. So what I can do is, let's see if I can do this. Can I just go to 2, and I had 16 cranks. Yeah, oh, look at that. Okay, so let me go up. So you see, if I just go up here, that 16 crank, now I'm back on the tack 3, bang, and I can go on up and get there. Okay, so then I'm driving right straight to the mark. And I'm using the ley lines on here. But let me point. Okay, so that's a trick, something to keep in mind. However, the ley lines are only going to be a practical value in a sense when you've got the winds fixed. When you've got the winds, unless you want to do some other things, the ley lines are meant for using with real Grib winds relative to where the boat is located. And the boat is located down here. And they'll move around. If you've got real winds, the ley lines will move depending on where the boat is and so forth. But that's not we're not using that for now. So let me just shut those off. Create routing to this ley lines from the Grib. Oh, wait, why did they not go away? Okay, so I've got to get the right mark up here. Yeah, and shut. Okay, let me hide this for a minute. I'm going to do away with that and close that. Now I see this one, and I can come in here and say ley lines and shut them off. Okay, so that is that. And now, the other thing I wanted to show is we can you can do this is sensitive to the current. Let me see if I just turn this back on. Let's see if that's remembered where we were. Draw a grip there. And no, I reset it. But let's do this again. Let's go up here to this corrections. This is just for you if you want to practice more, right? And you can turn on, current. So let's turn on 2 knots. And this is a current. The current's flowing this way, 2 knots, going to the east. Okay, good. Close. Now we do the same thing. We go. I've already done that, and we're going to go 45 degrees on the left side, minus 45, and then get going. So you see, it's a different route. Now I'm going to tack. Go to number 2. And then 45 plus, and 45, and then cranks. Okay. Well, you see the ley lines have changed completely. Oh, look at that. That's pretty good navigation. Anyway, you see how things have shifted when you're dealing with the currents. The currents will have rotated those ley lines. Like that. Before they were almost down like that. Okay, so that is just demonstrating that you can play with putting current on. Let's see, what do I want to do? Ley line, okay. Ley lines from the Grib, turn them off. This we're done with. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for a moment. Then we're going to come back and do some real wind fields and look at how that works when you've got changing wind in the background. Okay, so now we want to look at the process like the tool. Finally, I apologize, such a long introduction, but now we get to what the tool is designed to do, what its main use is. So let's first clean up what we've got here. I can go, right click, draw a Grib at reset. See, I can delete one I have made from here. I don't have to open from here to close. I can just open any one and say reset and close. Now it's fresh to start all over again. This test start, I don't know, we did something there. We don't need that anymore. And now we go in and get rid of the forced wind and the forced current. For now, we don't need. But, okay, no more forced wind, no more forced current. Now we have a regular high-resolution rapid refresh model HRRR, H-R-R-R, literally pronounced by those who make it HRRR. That's what they call it. It's a model that's run every hour, updated every hour, and it has like 1.5 miles resolution, compared to GFS, which is 15 miles resolution. Okay, so let's say this is our wind. We're going to start, I'm starting at a nice, see the wind, that wind data that's loaded is 48 hours. Now that's a longer story. I'm not going to get into that, but there's different, normal HRRR forecasts are only 18 hours, but those, and is computed every hour. But if you take the data at the synoptic time, 6, 12, 18, or 0, then they compute it for 48 hours. So this is one that we have loaded here that starts at, oh, that's interesting. It starts at 13. Oh, no. Okay, it's not that interesting. It starts at 12 like it should. Okay, synoptic time. I was about to make something interesting. Okay, and then so those are the every hour for 48 hours. Cancel. All right, and we're going from here to here. Now, what you might do, like in any real routing, like if you're just sitting here and you're in a kitchen table planning out you're going to sail tomorrow from here to here, you could have this forecast, the next day. You can get a forecast ahead of time, or you're doing it in the morning, you're going in the afternoon. So one thing, let's just look at how far is it and what's the bearing to it. Now, there's various ways to do that. I mean, one way is you can just right-click and under More Options, get a ruler tool and drag that over here and get an answer. And that's probably good enough for what we need right now. That looks like it's about like 284 degrees, 280. Now, one's Rhumb line and one's Great Circle. Let's say it's 284.4 is and the distance is 36 nautical miles. Okay, that's that. Escape. Okay, that's one way to do it. The other way you can do it is if you want a permanent line, you can go here and say More Options, draw a line to another POI, and then go up here and find the one you want, which is Becker Bay here, and just say make it a Rhumb line, make it brown, and then go. And so there you have a line drawn on the chart of where you want to go. That is 284.4 on the Rhumb line and 35 some miles away. Okay, now to get rid of that, once you've drawn it, the only way I know is I go back here, More Options, draw a line, and then don't draw a line. Okay, there may be other ways to delete that. Okay, so we know that the direction is 284 if you're going to go straight there. And in fact, we could go straight there. We could go, now again, I should be doing what we're after here, but if I want to just sail straight there, I could do a route, a Great Circle route. And I've done one, and I'm not going to take the time to go back over that, but edit route. Here's Great Circle route to there, and then go to, well, let's see. Oh, it's just hidden, okay. And you see there's a Great Circle route, and if I go on there, it tells me the heading was, you see I'm reading these numbers, 284.2, and it tells me. Now, what is this doing? This is doing like the DR is going to do. This is a route, meaning I forced the boat to go right straight down the Great Circle route, regardless of what wind the polar gives me, right? It could be way too low. It could not all be the optimum course. But anyway, whatever the wind is, that gives me the speed I'm going to take. And it says here that it takes me 2 hours. What's the total trip? Oh, wait a minute. That's the time. The date at the bottom is right at this moment, right? You see the different data here and different data here. But the top says it takes 4 hours and 45 minutes. So according to this, it takes 4 hours and 45 minutes. Now, I should get more or less the same thing if I do a Grib reckoning DR over there by a heading method, right? By the heading method. So let's get rid of this guy. Hide the route. Okay, so we're going to go there, and again we've got real winds, and we could go right click, create a More Options, draw a Grib reckoning. Now we could do, if we did it by the heading, we could do it by the heading just once to get going here. 284.4, that's the heading. Now obviously, you're not sailing to 0.4, but we know that's the answer. When we're doing computations, we might as well do that. Okay, so there's that, and I'm only going to do it in one leg, going there, and so that's it. Now I can just crank it out and drive over there. And notice I'm just holding this button down, and it's going 5 minutes at a time, and it's going to go over there, and I've overshot the mark, but what's my time here? 4:50. 450, and the other one was 445. So that's about right. They're 5-minute cranks. So you see, this type of DR is essentially the same as a great circle route. Okay, but that's not what we're after. We're after maybe a better way to get there. So let me reset this. I think that's all I have to do. And now let's go to true wind angle. And what are we doing here? I want to start, I got the Grib time starting here. This is downwind. So this is, if I want to start out downwind here, you might just again put this, click this on. What's our wind speed? Now you see I got wind reading down in the status bar. I put this mouse up here. And in this area, the wind is 6.5 knots, 6.6, 6.5, 6.6, something like that. So I can go over here now and put this at 6.5, like that. And then find out there that the optimum wind angle is 140. So if I want to take off on my downwind sailing, I'm headed here, right? But it's sort of downwind here. I want to go as fast as I can down, in that wind direction. That would be 140. Okay, so we're done with this. Let me hide that. And then let's get started. We start here. We're going to 140. Okay, it's 140. So we're going to put down here true wind angle, and then we're going to start out with the wind on the right side. That would be 140 on the positive numbers. And then let's just start cranking away. And there we go out here. Now, at some point, oh, look at that. We got, okay, now you see, you don't see any wind changing here. This is an important point. We don't see the wind changing, but in fact, the wind changed. We got headed, which forced us more downwind towards the mark. And so we're happy with that. Let's just keep on going for a while. But underneath here is the wind, and we can always right-click, and you can see we can set the Grib date and view that wind, but we don't want to do that right now. Let's just keep going. Let me just keep going for a while. Okay. Well, at some point, though, we have to jibe. We can't keep going up here into Canada. Well, we are going to Canada. We don't want to go up here, this part of Canada. So at this point, we better jibe. But now, let me do a reminder that we would probably have done ahead of time. Let me go back to this point here and more options. Draw a line to another POI, and let's go back and draw this line which I put up there and then erased. A Rhumb line, okay. You see, okay, here's the Rhumb line. It's nice to keep that in mind as we're jibing around. We'd like to, in a sense, go back and forth across this line and get up here, not get too far off this line, because then if the wind shifts, we've really lost a lot of ground. So we're plenty far enough up here that we're going to want to jibe. So we're going to come back down here, and now that wind's going to be on the, it's on the right side now. Then it's going to be on the left side. That'll be, okay, so I'll go to, that was my first one. Now I go to my second one, and I'm going to go to minus 140. Is that right? Minus 140, and start down. Yeah. Now, how far do I go down before I start back up? Well, at some point here, I can look at this as kind of like a ley line here, right? I can't look at that. The ley lines themselves aren't going to do anything because the boat's not anywhere near, the real boat's not there. But I can look at this as about right. And so it looks like from here, this line is pretty good, you see, for getting me up to here. So I'm going to jibe now, so that takes me, okay, better be careful. Click the number 3, go to the next one. Now this is back to wind on the right-hand side, which is 140, and we then crank away. What's happening? We're getting headed right down to the mark. That's interesting. Keep going. See, this is telling us what would... Now, this is also assuming this forecast is going to pan out exactly like it says. But as it's doing now, we're happy as a clam. We're just getting headed right into the mark. So I'm just going to keep on going. Bang, I'm there. Now, how long did that take us? 4 hours and 20 minutes. So that's like 35 minutes faster when we sail. Now, if you're cruising and just having fun and listening to radio and whatever, maybe you would just as soon not have to worry about sailing the right angle all the time, and don't care if you're there 35 minutes later. But and then you just head down here and go right straight down there. Put it on autopilot or something. And then, but if you're racing, that 35 minutes is a monster huge factor of going the right way. So that is how that works. That's sailing. That is doing Grib reckoning with that. Now, I don't know the answer here because I did this quite a bit earlier, but just for the heck of it, I did actually ask the program to compute using isochrones the very best route to get from here to here, starting at that time. And let's see what that looked like. Because you see the logic. I walked through and talked through the logic you might do at the helm as you chose this route. So there's nothing really very sophisticated in that. But now let's go edit route, Point Wilson to Beecher Bay. And I just want to show it. Okay. So you see, that makes sense. This is the green route. So if you put the best minds of the world here in this computer program and ask it to compute the very best for you, you end up with it's confirming that you had a pretty good judgment in your just total choices on how you got there in the first place. Now, how fast did they get there? 4:15. So they beat us. They got there by 5 minutes earlier. But we didn't do too bad. All right, well, that's a demonstration of this powerful technique. There's one more thing. I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to come back and add one last little section on doing this under power. And then we'll since the video is getting long, I'm going to then put a time index so you can go to specific parts. But let me pause and save this much. Okay, I want to add a little bit under doing this Grib reckoning under power. But first, I forgot one thing. I wanted to show something about how you can update the winds. So this is our reckoning here. Let me, for the time. Now this route, for example, we're not talking about routes here, so I'm going to let that go. So I'm going to just hide the route, and then this line, it doesn't matter about that. But what I want to do is come in here, and you see that what we didn't notice is this big wind change here. So I could go up to here if I wanted to and right-click this and say set. You see, what time is this? This gets here at 26:420. We started at 00. If you want to see in the background how the wind actually changed, you can right-click this and say Set Grib Date. So that will move the Grib time to that 420 time here. And you see what happened. The wind just came around and strengthened. That's exactly how we got there. So if I go backwards in time here, well, that's too big of steps. Let me go backwards in time about like 15 minutes. Where are we? 420. Now let me go backwards in time. And I wasn't looking at it. But as you see, what happens is the wind is changing. It's changing speed and changing direction. Okay, and we don't, again, that's a little bit tricky thing about the Grib reckoning. It's the wind that is doing the computations for you is changing with each crank step, but you don't see it change on the window. Now, let's look at, so this guy, I can hide him. I can reset it and delete it. Close. This we don't need anymore. The only way I know, as mentioned earlier, go to more options, draw a line, don't draw a line, edit. Okay. And I just want to finish up a short note about doing DR, Grib reckoning under power. And again, just to show how it works, because it's sort of a nice feature if we didn't have all these other features. In this program, any DR under power, we could do that with a pathway or with what's called a great circle route. There's numerous ways to do it. But let's just, for completeness, let me finish up and say how you would run the GR tool under power. So first we have to force it to, and it's not going to care what the wind is. It doesn't care if it's real wind or if it doesn't care if it's fake wind, because we're going to turn the engine on. So you come up here to boat settings and then go to engine and tacks, and then we're just going to fool the program here a little bit. Engine on. We're going to just say if the boat can't sail in the wind it's got, you always have to have wind of some kind, or the Grib reckoning won't work. But so we're now saying if the boat can't sail more than 80 knots, then turn the engine on and go 6.0 knots. Okay, so now that's easy enough. It's going to go 6.0 all the time. So let's just check this out here. Well, actually, we could do another trick here. Let's just go here, edit. And let's see, 6 knots is a mile every 10 minutes. That's 2 cranks. So here, let's draw one circle. Default, like it's 1 mile. That's okay. And now let's zoom in here. And 6 knots is, is 1 mile in 10 minutes. So I'm going to go here, create a routing. More options, draw Grib routing, Grib reckoning. I'm going to do a heading. I'm going to go due north, and I'm under the engine, but it doesn't know that. It's just going to go, so I'm going to go 1, 2, bang. Okay, so it knows that's how it computes it. It's going under power at 6 knots. We know that. And so just backing out here. So here's the way you would do it. You just keep going like that. There's the time like that. Then when you want to change, you'd go to 45 degrees. What mistake did I make? I didn't change this. Let me go, that was 0, 0, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to change course. I have to change up here. Then I go to 45, and then I go cranking away. Crank. Now, this is going to always be the same amount of distance per crank because the engine's on and we're assuming sea state doesn't matter and things like that. So there you go. That is DR under power. Again, like I say, we could go wandering. We could make a DR route that wraps up here and around these islands and everything else. We could do that a lot faster and easier using a pathway or what's called a great circle route. All right, that's the summary. This is a long video, but we can put indexes in so you can go straight to the part you care about.